The trick is to be present, to have what's actually going on, and to be clear about what you want. And Feng Shui is one of many ways of doing that, among other things. But this bit here, which is the feeling bit, I know no better way of dealing with feelings than feeling them. I'm sorry if that's bad news. But if we feel them, most people are spending most of their time trying not to feel. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Most people are strategizing all the time to not feel what they actually feel. They're going, oh, it'll be all right next week. He loves me after all. Perhaps they'll grant the loan. You know, all that sort of stuff. Yeah? But it's not those ideas, which are just a distraction, it's the feeling they don't want. And it really is the question of breathing. To be present, to have what is going on, which is what your man is talking about. Mm-hmm. Being present. Then, when you're present in this lunar, female, Selenic bit, when you're present with that, as you feel it, it actually doesn't hurt. Or it may hurt for a while, but it hurts less to feel it, and after a while it's not pain. And as far as I can tell, there was a finite number of breaths. I'm going out of the Tao into instructions now. Can you see what I did there? When I say there's a finite number of breaths, I'm in a different world here. I've come out into something technical. Yeah? But there are a finite number of breaths. That's my observation. We feel what we feel and we get powerful, because most of the time we're stupid, because our decisions are based on feeling better. Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees, not generally reckoned a top-ranked philosopher, said, everyone spends money to feel better. And he's absolutely right. The trick is to feel the way you feel and then do something you like. So we feel, then we get really clear what we want. That happens here. This is solar, visual, in the head, to do with fathers and authority and planning and that sort of stuff. Yeah? This is to do with mothers and allowing. Yeah? And it's kinesthetic. Here, we get clear what we want. And this again, mechanical, up into technical, okay? What we do is to replace the pictures we have with decent ones. Because we think, when we feel crap, we've got to think crap. And Feng Shui, if you like, on one level, is a very complicated way of doing that. It's like a trance state of bringing that about. If you like, again, I'm technical now, I'm not in the Tao. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Because I'm talking about the conditions of the reality we're imagining here among ourselves. You see what I mean? Yeah? But if you will feel what you feel and remember what you want, everything works. And the banana's done what the banana's supposed to do, and today is just the way it ought to be. Whoever won the lottery last night was supposed to win it, and whoever wasn't, didn't. Not on the level of God saying that's the way it should be, but on the level of our unfolding choice. And the trick to having a life that is without pain, and I'm not claiming to have one, I haven't ascended, is to be in line with what is so, and work from there. And today, it's going to move forward. But the inner discipline of doing good Feng Shui is to do that yourself and to assist other people to do it. Mostly what you're going to find is people who don't want to feel stuff. And the moment you get to feel what they feel, you have that moment of ching and everything starts to work. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to do some practical stuff. And I was looking at my material last night, I was concerned it goes a little bit fast, because I've terrified you enough with that map. The purpose of the map is to show you where we're going, and I promise you get there. It's possible it won't happen on this course, by the way, all of the stuff that's in there, but enough of it for you to feel satisfied will happen on this course. But what we're going to do is, as homework, start to construct that map, and I'll give you enough building blocks, not only to start it today, but to understand why you're starting it, and how you're starting it, what the stuff going on is, and also start making a difference in whatever building you choose. So, the place to start, I think, is to go over yesterday. So let's everyone close our eyes and let's get clear where we got to. We started yesterday the way I suggest we start now, which is let's have 6 deep breaths. Let's go back to when we woke up. What did we carry through from yesterday? Either that we hadn't celebrated that was great, or that we didn't want to deal with because it hurt, or anything in between. Let's remember that. Breathe into it. If it was painful, trust me, breathe into it. Breathe into it, you move it. Just as you can hear the sort of whisper of the water pipes, traffic in the distance, and my voice. That is done with. You feel into it, it's moved. Let's feel into it, and it moves. And the good stuff, we feel into it and we have it, and we use it as fuel. We know that our lives make sense and these things are worth doing. So move through from that moment to this, picking up the experiences that are incomplete or anything you feel needs picking up. You hear the distant traffic and you can be right here, starting again afresh. It's a new day. I'll give you a minute to do that, but don't come back into the room. Come up today and you're here. There is one experience, and that experience is next to the Tao. As soon as we identify it, we've moved on. As soon as we have words for it, we've moved on. The Tao is underneath that. The Tao is a point, an infinitesimal point. No size to it, it's just there. As we report our experience, we move from it and we start to create what we want in the day. Where we are now defines how the day will be. Now we go deep into the Tao, which I sort of see like something out of Prometheus or 2001 or something, way out in space. A point where everything, from which everything radiates. When we see the Tao at the moment, when it's all blackness, there's all nothing, but everything is potentially in there. And then we have light, so we have light and dark. We have water and earth, we have things that stick out and things and holes in things, and we have things that move and things that react. We have fast and we have slow. And we have a surface and the things that are on that surface. And we have sharp and we have rounded. We have an outline and we have an exclusion. And we can see that yin, which is not a gender issue, is essentially feminine, not female, essentially feminine. We're all made up of some sort of cocktail of these things. It's about letting all that happen, about empowering it, about, if you like, wu-wei as opposed to wei. And the yang is about getting things done, getting on with it, being busy, authoritative, original, those sorts of things. Bigger, faster, smarter, those sorts of things. And the yin is more about allowing, creating in the fundamental sense, empowering, grouping, agreeing, enclosing, contextualizing. These are yin things, and they work together. One could not happen without the other. You can't have a rocket without a launch pad. You can't have movement without fuel. You can't have something moving off without pushing or pushing away. As we walk along, we push the earth infinitesimally. These are the ideas of yin and yang. You remember that big things are essentially yang, little things are essentially yin, but then still things are essentially yin, and the bigger things are still. So where do you go with that? The answer is you go to the Tao, whatever that is, wherever it is. Whatever that means, if anything. And then we see these things differentiating into a method, into a technique. We move into the elements, which moves us out of the Tao into something that we can work with physically on the earth. So we come out of the Tao and we come into technique. And we see we've got fire, which is bright and quick. Very, very yang. It's about acceleration and about heat. And we have the wood that precedes it, which is about birth and growing and movement and light. And then after the fire we have the metal, which is about assessing, about exactness, about drafting, about counting, about authority, about rules. And then we have the water, which is about communication and about secrecy, and cool and calm, and about connection. And in the joins between those we have earth. And we see that we start the day with the wood of the tiger. We start the year with the wood of the tiger, Spring Festival. We also find the tiger in the east where the dawn is. And next is the rabbit, which is a bit more wood, still things stirring, things moving around, still wood. And we have the dragon, which is earth. Then we have the snake, which is the beginnings of fire, and the horse. In the morning, the late morning, the horse ends 1 in the afternoon. And this is the time of brightness, acceleration, promotion, visibility, in the middle of the day. And it's also the south in terms of position. It's where the light comes in. So it is the summer in the middle of the day and also the south, where the sun is. And then we have the sheep, the earth of the fire, as the dragon is the earth of the wood. And then we have the monkey in the southwest in the afternoon, the rooster in the west in the evening at sunset. The rooster is a creature of sunset. Legend has it swapped places with the rabbit. So the rabbit got dawn and the rooster got sunset. And then in the northwest we have the dog. The earth of the dog, the watch of the dog, the watchdog, the guard dog. And then we have the north, where the water is, with the pig and the rat. The watches of the night, the communication, the secrecy, the quiet of the night, the yin to the yang. It's communication and it's secrecy. It's communication and it's quiet. And then we have the dark of the night, the ox, which is the bridge between the worlds, the witching hour, the northeast, time just after Christmas, dark time, time when the light is almost gone completely. There are just little grains of it in the dark. And that's the northeast in the very early morning, and then we're back to the tiger. And what we're going to do today is to put all that in place in your chosen building. So imagine a building that matters to you. Your home is probably a good place to do it. And we're going to put all of those into place today, so you can see where they are and start to make use of them. And we will add to those a series of code numbers that tell you a lot more about the places and a lot more about the time. So just work through that in your head now. Go back to the bits that you didn't quite pick up. Maybe make note of them if you like. And when you're satisfied that you've drawn as much from that as you can, come back into the room. And create the day as you want it. Everyone back? Come back, Manuela. Good. Did everyone think? Did everyone think of a building that they want to consider? Right, everyone get that before we move forward. So your home is a good contender, but you can use an office, your own office, someone else's, as you like. The more experienced of you may choose to do that. What will in the next module's material will be a drill for doing a survey. I'm not going to include it in this. I think it will take us too far at this point. But we'll start building up basic procedure, and in time you'll be able to do sophisticated things with this. In time you'll be able to build buildings using these principles. But so be at it. Very powerful thing. Be at. Do you know Hao Chui? Come across Hao Chui? He's a Feng Shui architect.
No, I don't know anything about Feng Shui. I just like the idea, and I kind of toy with it for a long time. And then I was given your book by a very good friend of mine.
Who's that?
You actually met her in Turin when you went there for your premiere, and she's a therapist, a psychologist. So she's called Elena Cohen, and so she came to your seminar, and she told me you should go, you should read these and go.
Who was that?
Her name is Elena Cohen, and then I started reading your book. How about that? So I really don't know.
We sold lots of books in Turin.
Good, that's what one of them is mine. So I really don't know any architect, so I kind of approach if you want the other way.
But I know you sort of wince every time I talk about architecture. But all I'm saying is there's something very, very powerful about it.
No, but I love architecture. That's
good, okay. I was a little unsure.
No, I like architecture. I'm just not practicing anymore. I think I'm missing it, and that's another reason why I'm here.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood you. But I know quite a few architects, Feng Shui architects, but none in the UK, or none that I would use in the UK. And I've seen them doing things like putting in the 7-star robbery in a house while they're building it. It was an incredibly powerful thing to do. You don't have to just, hope there's a window in the right place. It's bloody there. It's been built that way. Very, very powerful stuff. It's a German guy called Michael Rapp, R-A-P-P, who's a lovely, lovely, sweet man, who's a Feng Shui architect, who was at Turin, actually. He gave a short, flew in a very Germanic way, flew in, gave his talk, and flew out again. He was a sweet, sweet, sweet man. What I'm saying is, this will be quite mundane, but with imagination, this is very, very big stuff. What we want to do, I'm not going to worry about orientations of buildings. I've been sort of vague about compasses, because really we don't have to get too excited about which compass we use at this point. It is true that Feng Shui masters compete over who's got the biggest compass. They really do. There is. If you go to Ricky Tan's shop in Kowloon, there is a compass this big. Honestly, it's like that story about the one-armed fisherman. You've got a fish this big. So compasses. It may be that we'll decide to use a compass. We'll probably go to Waystar, because I've been using that for so long. But a Boy Scout compass like your one will do fine for these purposes. We're not going to deal with the orientation of the house. We're going to deal with the interior of the house and keep it nice and simple and build out. Truth is, 70% of Feng Shui is external, so we're only dealing with 30%. But 30% plus intention will do miracles. In fact, I'm going to read you something. Actually, I'm going to read you something. This is from a guy who runs an ecological website. You got an ecological website, right, Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah.